All right. Well, welcome to the Writer Reads Flash Fiction. This is episode 55, and today's piece visits the origin story of one of the major minor characters in my Odyssey universe, Agent Delight. It's called An Absolute Delight. Oh, she's an absolute delight, Mel assures me, slinging a little red jacket over her shoulder, something to offset the little black number she's wearing. I wave her out the door, making sure I lock it. The absolute delight sits on the couch, her dainty 16-year-old feet tucked beneath her. She greets my look with a raised eyebrow, but doesn't speak until her mother's car pulls out the drive. "You can leave now," she says. Uh-huh. I step into the room proper, pretending to prop myself just inside the doorway. "Sorry, sweetheart." Getting Mel out of harm's way was easy. Just send her to some top-of-the-town function with an eligible bachelor of the appropriate age and social standing. Reports had it the kid was an absolute, all right. Just not a delight. Who was I to disabuse her mother of the notion? Reports also had it that Ms. Delight had made it to the top of the sorority hit list, and with this crowd, that is something we take seriously. These girls play rough, learning the art of assassination at their mother's knees. I don't mean literally, but these kids know who to hire and how it's done. Most of them have been targets since birth. A few have made it to 3 or 4 before their families became interesting enough for an attempt to be made on their kids. Mel's a newcomer to the elite. Delight had been 8 before she lost her first bodyguard. Mel had been horrified to learn the rumours were true and put us on the payroll immediately. We hadn't been able to save her husband, but then he'd hired the opposition and they'd been bought. Mel and Ms. Delight are on their own. "If you don't leave, I'll tell everyone you indecently assaulted me." I smile. We record everything we do. The recording systems wired into our skulls never switch off. The company claims it keeps us honest. Mostly it's because of situations like this. I ignore her. "They're coming," I say. She starts to laugh, takes a good look at my face and stops. "When?" Interesting, she doesn't ask who. "Someone's hire for tonight." I watch her face as she goes through the possibilities, see her pull one up that means something and blanch. "And you're all they sent to keep me safe?" I hear the brief note of panic in her voice. "From what I hear, you can take care of yourself. We didn't want them to know you'd been warned." I don't tell her that her mum's dangerously low on cash, that she can't pay for more than me. She'll learn that soon enough. I also don't tell her that my employers are going under. That, cash or not, I'm all they've got to spare. Again, Mr. Light studies me and nods. "Plans?" "You're in the easiest room to defend. We take 'em as they come." I watch her absorb it. "Best you close the door," she says, and her eyes check our surroundings. Can't fault that. But then we have trained her, and, delight or not, she's a damn fine student. Lucky for her, because the company's right. I can't do it on my own. If she'd been the usual whiny rich brat, she'd have been dead, and so would I. They send 6, 3 more than we expect. I go down, bleeding from a knife slash across the gut, trying to breathe past cracked ribs from where the vest stopped a few rounds, and immobilized by a knee that's going to need some serious reconstruction. The assassin goes past, and Ms. Delight takes him out with a move we sure as shit haven't taught her. She checks the all clear, drags me to cover, and tips a bookcase across what's left of the door. I nearly pass out. Somehow don't. Now we're safe. She hits the emergency retrieval button, sees my surprise, and grins. "You don't think I'm late home because I dawdle on the way from class," she says. "I took some extra tuition." "Where?" "My boyfriend works for Odyssey." Things fall into place. Her father held shares in Odyssey. Oberon, as it's sometimes called, was killed for it. It runs luxury liners, is one of the best security firms in the business. Ms. Delight cuts my shirt away from the wound in my stomach, takes a look in, and turns an odd shade of green. "Don't," I whisper. But she swallows hard, cuts a clean piece of linen from the back of the couch and covers the wound. "Wouldn't dream of it," she says, her voice husky as she tears strips from a wall hanging to bind the cloth in place. Mum is going to kill me. She might have been right, but Mr. Suitable had taken matters into his own hands. We're picked up and spirited home to base, long before we learn about it. Ms. Delight surprises me by visiting medical, accompanied by a young man claiming to be a cook. I take one look at his eyes and say, my ass. He smirks. I could cook that too, but I've been told to give you this instead. It's a contract. I look at him. Last line went under yesterday. Catriona convinced the brass we should take you on. Movement at the end of my bed catches my eye. The doctor. He looks at my visitors, notes the contract in my hand. I'd sign it, son, otherwise I'm putting you on the street as of 10 minutes ago. He flicks a switch and the entertainment unit lights up to report last line's demise. I take his advice, and the Odyssey team have me out of there inside 5 minutes. When I next see Ms. Delight, she's wearing the uniform of an Odyssey stewardess, and I'm in a tank regrowing what I've lost. By then I know about her mum. No Odyssey have successfully retrieved Mel and put her on the payroll. I access the recording, Catriona says, adding, So, am I? What? An absolute delight. You're an unmitigated shit, I say, trying not to laugh. But she did just fine, Catriona. Call me Ms. Delight, she says, and I don't feel like laughing any more. She takes one look at my face and walks away giggling. It's my cover name. You do know you talk in your sleep, right? Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this piece, please hit like. If you'd like to hear more, please hit subscribe. And if you'd like to hear more specifically about Delight and her adventures, please let me know in the comments. And I'll check you later. Take care out there.